In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Get started again.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not a big government or bust. It is Monday. Number that you can call this evening is 603, toll-free, 835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Had a wonderful weekend down in Erie, Pennsylvania. Now, for those of you that don't know where Erie, Pennsylvania is, somewhere roughly halfway between Cleveland, Ohio, and Buffalo, New York, along Interstate 90, I-90. And it's a mid-size community, I guess you could. Small or tiny. It's a mid-size community. It's a good size. Not huge. It's not metropolitan or anything like that. But it's right on the banks of the Great Lake Erie. And Presque Isle is there. And it's a very lovely area. And the people over there were fantastic. I did an event over there. People were fantastic. Love being able to speak with them over there in Erie. And I look forward to being able to go back. Made some new friends there. Especially one particular person. First name is Mike. I guess he's got this giant elephant on trailer bed that he hauls around different events and so forth. And I have yet to see. He's got to take it out of storage, I guess. Told I have to come back in the spring and summer just so I can see this giant elephant. Elephant meaning, the symbol for the General Opposition Party or GOP Republicans. So I will have to see. I asked him to send me pictures of this thing, and you got to see it for yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's got me interested in at least coming back to see the elephant. And my host, absolutely. I put it this way. They were a hoot. Couple. But very active and young acting. They didn't act tired old couple. They were just so... Congratulations to them on that. But otherwise, I had a wonderful time. It was a little bit different. Great event with just me. Now, I'm used to other people other speakers, but it was fine. And I didn't really go over my self-allotted time. Because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to bore people with a speech that is way too... allowed me to, but I kept it at a reasonable time. And as usual, had lots of wonderful questions during the question. And it was really a spectacular time. It really was. I went to this for lunch at this private club, rather posh. Food was absolutely delicious. I'd never been to a place like that before. I've been to, you go to private golf clubs and golf clubs, not the clubs themselves, but a golf club. And I've been to those. But this was something, it wasn't exactly a gentleman's club, but from what I understand, and I didn't get to actually go there or inside that particular area room, cigar lounge. And I didn't speak up as we were leaving the private. bad they, it almost seems like a gentleman's club. It's too bad they don't have a cigar room or the only thing that's missing. And my host looked at me and said, "Oh no, you've got to see our room." Have one? He said, "Oh yeah." So now I got two reasons to go back. One, to experience that cigar room, and two, to see that giant elephant on a which he tools around. He moves that thing around, I guess, on a completely refurbished earlier model. I think 80s. He said 80 Range Rover. Well, he said totally refurbished it. It looks mint condition, but it's old, but it looks mint. That's got to be a sight to see. I'll have to go back to Erie, Pennsylvania. And if you ever travel along Route 90 between Cleveland, Ohio, and Buffalo, you got to stop off in Erie. You got to stop. Anything just to see the lakefront, because I guess they've been doing a lot of development recently on the lakefront, and of course there's Presque Isle. Call it a bay in between Presque Isle and coastline of the city. You got to see Presque Isle, and you got to see the waterfront and things like that. So I would suggest that you step off the highway if you're in that area and just give it a view. I mean, it's just part of Americana. Really, it's an area and a small city rich with American history as well. Definitely want to take a look for yourself. Hey, listen, this is over the weekend when I got home. Now, I was watching, and I find myself that yesterday it was kind of different, but during the late afternoon, early evening, I was watching, yes, that terrible mind-numbing box or rectangle now that we call television. And not only, I started to look at the type of things or recall the things that I had seen in the airports during my travel this weekend. Yes, I flew Boston Logan International Airport to Cleveland International. Boston Logan International Airport, and and I flew Spirit Airlines. By the way, they were delayed on the return trip. The flight was delayed, and I was just, the flight came out of, I do believe, Fort Lauderdale, so into Cleveland over and then jumped over to Boston. So I'm guessing it was delayed because of the Hurricane Patricia that fell in. Most powerful hurricane ever. Fell flat. Thankfully, a lot. There wasn't a ton of damage done down in Mexico, and from what I understand, there was no lives lost. Last time I heard, there were no lives lost attributed to Hurricane Patricia. Hurricane Pat. And that's a good thing. But it means that the United States mainland hasn't had a Category 3 or greater hurricane strike now 120 months. That's like 5 years now. I don't think we've really had one since. God's been good to us lately. Not going to deny it, not going to complain about it. But all you wonderful, climate change people, you're beside yourself with trying to explain this. But anywho, as they say down there, I noticed something in the airports, even in Erie, on the streets in the hotel at Erie, and on television this weekend, and it all It really struck me because I was catching up on watching Last Man Standing. Now, I love that program. In its 5th season, believe it or not. I love that program. Tim Allen he's a hoot. And it's amazing that it's a hit, and it's now in its 5th season because Tim Allen plays a character that is extremely conservative, and you just don't get away with that on lamestream media television. But he does, but one of the things, he's got a son, Ryan, who's very much a liberal. Now, I don't know what the political leanings are of the actor himself. I'm going to say that he, looking at him, that unlike the character he plays, who happens to be a vegetarian, that the man who plays the character Ryan, but Ryan's a vegetarian. And Ryan is also one of those guys that I call a girly man. Now, he doesn't look and dress like a girly man, but he's a liberal guy. He's an ultra-liberal male. So he has this feministic quality about him that, he doesn't want his 8-year-old boy to walk home from school, a walk that takes 7 minutes. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. But this is how we've in this country, we've gotten to the point now where, I look at a lot of times some of these high fashion stuff. But these male models are walking down the runway dressed in. And, I'm not the only one who says those male models don't look happy. And my response always is, if you had to wear that, you be happy? So we've got this really continued feminization of the male of the human species. And this whole notion, with the man bun and the man purse or the merce, feministic gay men that are just doing this, by the way. We're talking supposedly straight guys. Straight males. Who oftentimes I find act than women. And I know, there's it's like this, we have this dichotomy. We have this, and it's not just, although it really, you want to go down racial lines, it really is something that's very prevalent with whites, but it's white males, but it's not limited to white males. And you could say, well, it's because it's their culture is different, but a lot of times certain Asian males, depending on where they're from, like Korea and Japan, there's also seems to be this huge feminization of them. But if you look at Korea has got a huge problem with the feminism. But the majority of this stuff, this feminization of males, comes from the West. Oh, excuse me. Here. But they have this notion that, it's okay to be a woman. We have reduced men so much in the feminization process since the 70s, and it really took hold in the 90s. That now we have men who are really confused and think that they are women. There are, I know some people think, guys, there are dire consequences. Societally speaking, there are dire consequences with this. Now, it is at the point now where the New York Times actually had an article a few weeks back about what it means to be a man. what a true man is. And one of the things that they posted about being a real man is, and they were very adamant and very clear, that a real man today does not own, want, or firearm at all. Now, you got to ask, if that's the case, what kind of a military would we have if we feminized our men so much that they don't even want to pick up a rifle? We wouldn't have a military. And this whole notion that a real man doesn't fight with a woman, argue with a woman. In other words, it's supposed to wants. That a man is not, to be a real man today, you're not supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be sensitive and overly caring to the point where one time I was in a karate, Kenpo karate. I was just monitoring it, and I wanted to get back. I wanted to see what type of martial arts they were teaching, because the sign outside on the window didn't tell you the style; it just said School of Martial Arts. What style? Ended up being Kenpo karate style. All that interested in that style. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not interested in it. But I'm sitting there monitoring the class and the teachers, the sensei's interaction with the kids, and the kids were anywhere between there were a couple of small ones in there. Maybe they were 8, but 10 to 12. And the one thing that I noticed was, and we're talking evening. It wasn't afternoon. It was evening. Dads are at work, yeah, but they're home by now. 90% of them were taken to martial arts class by their moms were there. Now, there were a few dads there, but I couldn't, when they got to the sparring part, practice sparring, they have all the equipment on, sparring equipment, the overly padded gloves on the hands and the feet, because you get the kick. And you got the padded headgear on, and they're wearing their mouth gear, and mouth gear today is kind of ridiculous. They're well protected, and they're learning how to deal, with strikes and punches and kicks, and just practicing the martial arts with not full force, but full contact. And the moms there, all of them seemed to be relaxed by it. I mean, they were relaxed, just watching. And they'd give encouragement. Good job, or good spin, honey, or good block, honey, and that type of stuff. Now, 2 of the dads, when their kids were doing it, I swear to you, I looked over, I saw them hiding their face in their hands because they couldn't look. Now that's what a woman used to do. Now, here I am in this karate studio, and these ladies are acting more like men than 2 of the men that are there. But these are the guys that are going to be teaching their sons how to grow up to be males. I bet you those dads probably have MRSAs. And now, fortunately for me, I didn't see anybody with a man bun in the studio. But I see them everywhere on the street, and the rare occasion that I have to go to the mall, the malls, forget it. I can't deal with it. Yeah, one, because they tend to be overly crowded, but you walk by store after store after store, and these are stores that are geared towards our youth and males under the age. Walk by, and it's just, and the stuff that they have for girls is unbelievable. You want to talk about teaching your girl how to dress up to be a hussy? Well, you let her go to some of those mall stores. But what's worse is the stuff that you see that they say is for the male. I don't know if there was ever a time I would have ever have been caught with any of that stuff that they've got on sale there. I mean, that's just it. I'm not exactly sure, really, which in some of the stores, which side were for the boys and which side was for, because it looked nearly exactly the same. Look, I'm not blaming this on anything, any one thing in particular, but the feminization of our nation and our culture. Now, understand this. It doesn't mean that if you're impeccably dressed and you're well-mannered that you're a girly man. No, absolutely not. You can look, a few hundred years ago, the French and British, the hierarchy, the well-groomed and well-educated, and the military people, they were impeccably dressed. They even wore makeup and powdered wigs and all that kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. They were men. So it isn't always necessarily the outer expression as we know it, but in today's society, what these guys are wearing and the expression that they're putting forth is not being a man. It is being feminine. Guys are getting in touch with their feminine. No, guys are not supposed to have a feminine side. Just as women are not supposed to have a masculine side. That is why there are two distinct sexes in the human genome. Plain and simple. You can't. I don't know how else to put it for you folks, but this is getting out. It's really out of hand, and it is starting to affect how we interact with the rest of the world as a nation, and the rest of the world that will not. Most of the rest of the world is looking at this country, including Russians, and laughing their you-know-what off. Can't be afraid of a bunch of girly men. What is, you're going to sit in that foxhole and cry? They're not going to care. They're just going to shoot you. It's important, folks. It's important. Look, now we have women trying to raise men. That's sad.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. National EMS Institute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Fellow Americans, here on the Rod Eccles Show. The number here that you can call, by the way, is still 603-835-3224. And give that number some usage as we continue on. We have here the GOP establishment is losing their mind. It looks like, now, over the weekend I also saw something about Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush was going to announce that he was dropping out of the race. Now, I knew he wasn't going to do that today. But you got to look at some of the things. You know, he's not acting and looking like the candidate of choice. The GOP is losing their collective minds with Donald Trump and now Benjamin Carson. These two men are not what the GOP, the establishment, want. They're not the men that they feel that they can control. Not at all. I mean, look. I think Trump was pretty brilliant when he was out there. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago now? Complaining that he didn't have Secret Service protection. And he was citing the fact that other candidates in previous elections cycles had Secret Service protection at this point in the process. And he was pointing that out. And Dr. Carson didn't have it, and he didn't have it, and he was wondering what was going on. And he made a stink about it. And then all of a sudden, Carson and Trump get the minimal Secret Service protection. Look, the reason why they didn't get it is because the establishment and the powers that be on the left didn't want them to have it. That makes things a little bit more dangerous for those two not having it. But now that they do have it, it sort of evens the playing field, if you will. But, this whole notion that you've got the. I know what you had. You had a Boehner interview talking about that he longed for the days before this fractured internet media. It was just terrible. Now that the people actually have access to real news instead of being spoon-fed news by the lamestream media, the major networks. And I often see a lot of these memes sometimes, especially from these conspiracy theorists. What is it? Something like or something of the TV, radio stations, and newspapers in the country are owned by 6 companies or 6 families, something like that. But the problem is that a lot of those outlets, those big media outlets, are in trouble and are close to bankruptcy, as in folding and going out of business. So it's not like the 70s anymore. They don't have the monopoly on the information that is being disseminated, and that's what they hate. They can't stand it. There's no way for them to control what you hear, see, and read, because it's all over the web. And look, even when people they post something and they try to erase it and take it down, once it's posted and at least one person sees it, it's all over. It's everywhere. I always get this kick when people post stuff to Twitter, and then they go back and they remove it. Like, well, that's late. People have already retweeted it and copied it and sent it over to Facebook and every other social media outlet on the web. It's going. It's kind of like the Justin. I just had somebody tell me the other day, "Hey, have you seen the Justin Bieber picture? The one where he full frontal nudity is, I guess." Like, no, I'm not interested. And besides, it was taken down right away. And he said, "Not quick enough." Okay. But as soon as one person sees it, man, it's over with. You're not getting rid of it. It's on the internet to stay forever. As long as there's going to be an internet, it's out there. So, I mean, people are going to be able to probably, go to Wikipedia and look up Justin Bieber, and it'll probably have something about, his nude photo, and they'll probably be able to do whatever a Google search is at that time and find the picture. 100 years from now. Guarantee you. Dude. Well, his dad's Canadian, right? Well, I guess Canadian are still men. Side note, his dad was boasting about the endowment of his son. I don't think I've ever heard a dad do that, but okay. Well, I guess it paints a good light on dad there, right? Dad gave his genes to Justin, so there you go. But the left is just left, yes, the GOP left, the establishment. They're incensed by this alternative media. You know what? I'm part of the alternative media. Those people really don't like me. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying that I'm big enough for them to even really pay attention, but some of them are paying attention. When I do the rare interview on this program, it's not some little slouch of a third-rate, author trying to get his book, sell at least 100 copies of his ebook. I get real people, like Colonel Alan West, who, by the way, will be back on here with me, scheduled to be back here on next week. So this is I'm starting to make some waves. Look, I was traveling all over the East Coast pretty much this time around, my first speaking tour. And if you want to call me, if I can use this term, I was a hit everywhere I went. So people are paying attention to what I have to say, that this program is growing by leaps and bounds. Got some exciting news to share with all of you next week as well about this program. the left, and I'm telling you know what, when I'm from now on, when I say the left, I mean the GOP establishment, the rhinos as well. They lament, they are pining for the day before alternative media, before the insurrection of internet blog, before the Tea Party. Back in a day when media was tightly, even in this country, believe it or not, it was tightly controlled. Like they think, well, we got the freedom of the press, man. We got freedom of the press. You know, that's our First Amendment, right? We got freedom of expression, freedom of the press, man. No other country's got freedom of the press. We got freedom of the press. We can say anything and hear anything we want. We got freedom of the press. But we didn't. Press has been in the back pocket of the left for a very long period of time, and they tightly control the information. And make no mistake about it, if this were pre-alternative media, if this were 20 years ago, this whole Hillary Clinton scandal, you would have heard about it, maybe a couple of months after the incident, and then it would have been buried. Not another peep. Guaranteeing you that. I mean, let's face it, we didn't really... I am convinced that if Bill Clinton were president now, not only would he have been impeached, but he would have been convicted and removed from office because of the brouhaha, if you will, from the public would have been so tremendous that there wouldn't have been any choice. I guess we have yet to see, since, the society has changed so much, we have yet to see. Might I add, hey, all you wonderful leftist homosexual fans of Hillary Clinton, what do you think of what she said about you? I ask because I bring it up sometimes on Facebook, and because you have some of these people that just blindly follow this woman, or anybody from the left for that matter. And you bring up the things that they say, and one of the things that they say, well, they try to tell me, well, they didn't say that. So it's also a good thing that we have the internet because there's also video that we can share. Not just audio, but video. So they can actually see and hear this person saying whatever, I'm accused of saying. And it's rather interesting how they try to dismiss it. They can go on continuing to support her. Liberalism is a mental disorder. Because on the right, the true conservatives, if something like that happened with a right candidate, they would get very little, if any, support. Remember David Duke trying to run as a Republican back in the 80s? Conservatives in the Republican Party turned their back on David Duke. Didn't give him any assistance. They didn't tell him he couldn't be a Republican. They just didn't give him any assistance. They didn't talk about him. They didn't give him any money. The big donors, they encouraged not to give to David Duke. And David Duke lost big time. Because he was an unabashed, unforgiving racist. And the GOP was not going to circle the wagons around him and try to protect him and try to apologize for him. No. They hung him out there to dry, and he did. Leftists, because that's the right thing to do. Leftists, on the other hand, they will look for any excuse, every excuse possible to explain away or to give reason for the reason behind choice. Just like they're doing with Hillary. Oh, man, we've already been over this. This is a witch hunt. There's nothing there. And every time they say there's nothing there, there's a whole new batch of emails that get released that show that there is something there. And then they blame Republicans for, looking too deeply into this. I mean, what difference does it make at this point? This was, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was ago. It was years ago. And yet this time around, we see that Hillary had 600 emails and other additional emails that prove that she lied before, and it's a ho-hummer to these leftists. Ho-hum, big deal. It was no big deal. Ambassador and 3 other Americans. It wasn't it could have been worse. It was no big deal. A video, even though we know it wasn't a video, we're still going to say it was a video. I had somebody today tell me that. Oh man, that guy didn't make that video. So the whole point that Hillary Clinton said when she told the Libyan president, when she told the Egyptian president, when she told other government officials and her own family that it was a terrorist attack, had nothing to do with any kind of, it did not bring up video at all, said it was a planned terrorist attack. I guess she was lying about that, is what you're saying now? So, really, either she's lying about the video or she's lying about her, actually admitting and knowing that it wasn't a video, but it was a... So, no matter how you look at it, one way or the other, the woman is lying about something. And you on the left are going to tell me that it's fine. When you accused George Bush of lying, you wanted to throw him in jail. You wanted to perp walk him. But Hillary, on the other hand, she lies, gets caught in a lie, and there is no evidence that George W. Bush lied. But there is evidence that Hillary Rodham Clinton lied, and yet you wanted to string up GW, but try to get Hillary elected. All this amidst, the GOP coming unhinged. Because you, the voter, you, the constituency, you, the registered Republican, are supporting somebody other than big donor class backed candidate, Jeb Bush. They're mad about that. They just cannot believe that you're not buying their sound bites, their advertisements, and all this other stuff. Because, look, I have said this. The reason why the GOP can't get their message across is because they haven't learned how to use what's important today, which is social media. Now, if you look at, I know some people say, well, social media, nobody, older people want to know the median age has gone up from the age of 20, in age, before. Thought, I'm not going to be 20 I'm not going to be, 20 something. He knew that he wasn't going to be 20 something forever. That he was going to have to, and for his model to get bigger, he was going to have to morph and have Facebook age along with him. And it did. Now I believe the median age is closer to 40. So it has jumped a generation from in less than a generation. Oh, Facebook, what is it? It's 10 years old now, right? It's 95 or somewhere is when it started. 96? I don't know. Somewhere around there is when it really started. It's 10 or 11 years. That's it. And some of us, we don't think of it that way because it seems like it's always been around, but it's only been, well, not 95, but 05 is what I meant, 2000. It's only been around for 10 or 11 years or so. That's it. Oh, maybe a little bit. Was it 2000? When he was at Harvard, wasn't it around 2004? Wasn't it? So the first incarnation of Facebook, I guess, was, I don't know the full history behind Facebook, nor do I really care, but I do know that it hasn't been around very long. It's been around for 15 years or less, and that's it. That's less than a generation. And the rest of the internet as we know it today, as we've come to understand it and utilize it and use it and know it, again, it's only been around for a generation. I mean, yeah, it started out, where masses of people came aboard and started logging on and things like that around the late 90s, and there were blogs, and but blogging was very cumbersome, and it was have a site because you had to really build a site or have somebody else build it because there was what WYSIWYGs were out there were not very good. What you code in order to build a website, and there were plenty of programs out there that try to help you do that, but it just didn't. And then the blog format came out. It just didn't take off right away. It took a few years for it to catch on and build, and then once it did, it exploded. But you're looking at the middle of the aught year. Middle of the first decade is when this stuff, because MySpace was big. Then it switched over to, the late 90s and like 2000, I think it was, what was it, Friendster? Then it went to Facebook, and Facebook was the giant for a while. And then it went MySpace. And then MySpace was a giant for a while. Then it went to Facebook. And there were a plethora. I don't think is Friendster still around? Kinds of things have come and gone since the late 90s. And now it's the internet is, people are saying, well, it's entering the maturity state. No, it's not. The internet is still in its infancy. So you have to understand, if the left are aghast about them losing control and having only little control over the information flow now with the internet's current incarnation, can you imagine what it's going to be like in another 5 or 10 years? This is why they're trying to do so many different things, like saying, a link is copyright infringement if you do that. Why a lot of newspaper online are trying to go to a subscription model, so people just just anybody can't read it. You got to pay to read it. But the problem is that you're getting more and more and more individuals who are jumping online and disseminating information, not just political information, but information of all kinds. You have, Wikipedia. Before, Wikipedia was considered to be, it wasn't reliable, but Wikipedia has morphed and transformed itself into being highly reliable. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but it is highly reliable today. Highly accurate. And again, it's free. All it takes is an internet connection somehow. And our phones have just gone the opposite. Remember, the phones used to be big. And they started to shrink. Remember the StarTAC? It was just a cell phone, but the StarTAC got to be, this. It looked like the transcorder or communicator in the original Star Trek series. You know how they flip it up? That's basically the size of what the StarTAC was. Motorola StarTAC. It was StarTAC, which actually was a slight play on Star Trek. Because that's what it looked like. That's about the size that it was. It was a tiny little thing. I remember me saying that I would never want something that small because I'd just end up losing it. And then all of a sudden, smartphones came, and you got things like the first smartphones, which are now called dumb phones. But you had the BlackBerries and things, and phones started to get a little bit larger. And then you got the full-on smartphones that started to develop apps that could be used online and all that kind of stuff. And you look at them today, they don't look like phones; they look like mini TVs now. They've just gotten huge. They're very thin. But now people have this near instantaneous communication device that communicates with anyone, anywhere on the planet just about, at any time, near instantaneously. So all of that web content that is being thrown on the web is now, what used to only really be accessible when somebody was sitting at their desk in front of their big desktop PC or possibly to a connected laptop someplace. No longer the limiting factor. Limiting factor is how fast can you get it out there? Because everybody's going to see it on their phone now. And trust me, these guys on the left, they can't stand that. This is why they're out there openly lamenting the days pre-internet, pre-alternative media. Because they're having a difficult time and finding it nearly impossible to control the flow of information. Let's face it. No matter what they have, what would have worked just one or two presidential election cycles ago, doesn't work today. You know, the left has put all of this money and all of these ads and all of these, hit pieces onto Donald Trump, trying to bash Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is now standing up there looking like Superman, deflecting everything. And these lefties, especially GOPers, are scratching their head. That is the vast power that is the internet. They haven't learned how to properly utilize the vast power that is social media. Even Democrats aren't sure of how to control social media. They don't want Hillary's bad stuff going viral, but it does almost daily. You can't control it unless you have a control switch and you are in a control-freak country. China. Most Middle Eastern countries. Not lamenting the good old days in places like that because they're still living in the good old days in spite of what their people want. Don't take my word for it. Go and look this stuff up for yourself. You'll see it. Just take a look around the internet.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave leaving your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
don't have to depend on anybody else. You can just go out there and find the information that you need or want in a heartbeat. And not only that, but you can also, a lot of it you can definitely trust as being truthful because it's corroborated by a number of other sites. And some, oftentimes by sites from the left if you're looking for right stuff, stuff on the right. So it's not just, which also adds to the left's dilemma of how to control all this information. Look, if people understand, this is why we have had sweeping elections in 2010 and in 2014. This is why, trust me on this, folks, this is why Democrats are down some 1,300 to 1,500 seats across this country in the last 4 years. Simply because of the free flow of information between people in this nation and the internet. This whole notion of the FCC being able to regulate and the fairness doctrine coming back and, you know, giving the president the power to shut down the internet and this change, trying to make this change with the copyright laws that would prevent, 99% of linking out there. It's all due to you being able to get the information that you want, how you want it, when you want it, where you want it. That's what it's all about. Control the flow of information, and you get to control the people. You think they want you knowing all the stuff that you do know? No, they don't. They don't. Well, anyway, good evening. Welcome back, my fellow liberty lovers and fellow Americans, and you wonderful ecclesiastites. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. As we get on into the second hour, the fastest 2 hours on Internet Talk Radio, we're going to move into, oh, by the way, you can still call if you want. Toll free, 603-835-3224. Moving on, this is a story from youngcons.com. When I saw this, I had to do a double take, if you can do a double take on the computer. But I had to do a double take, basically, because I couldn't believe the headline that I read. And yeah, I'm just going to give you the headline and get right into it, shall we? University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee says the term politically correct is a microaggression. Now, I've never heard of the term microaggression. But using the, and this goes, there's another term that, hard worker. We'll get into that too. But this is leftist. I mean, these people are just getting wackier. And look, somebody on the right had best get to those big pharma. Let me tell you, because they're out there. Supposedly the researchers have found a way in the UK that if they zap your brain or your head with certain types of energy waves, that they can erase your belief in God. Well, I'm telling you, somebody out there needs to do some research, or Big Pharma needs to come up with a pill to cure liberalism, because it is a mental disorder. It's a disease. There's no other way to explain it, because nobody in their right logical mind would come up with this kind of garbage that they've been coming up with lately. I mean, you can't say anything without offending somebody. And now if you use the word or the term politically correct, you're exhibiting microaggression. Do they make up words just so they can fit what they think that they're feeling? They must. Here's a story from Michael Cantrell. He says, I'm thoroughly convinced every major liberal university in this country has followed Ozzy's lead and totally gone off the rails on a crazy train. And while there's plenty of examples to choose from, says Michael Cantrell, to illustrate his point, he wants to talk about the latest one coming out of the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. Apparently, if you use the term politically correct, you're guilty of throwing. You're guilty of lobbing a microaggression bomb toward the delicate sensibilities of pansy fancy pants lefty students who are part of the new generation of young folk who wilt whenever someone poses an idea, thought, or belief that challenges their own. Not so girls. The girls will stand up and try to shout you down and accuse you of all kinds of things, being misogynist and all, anti-woman, all that kind of stuff. The guys who are males, who are these girly men, you're hurt their feelings. See it all the time. So, look, I say this a lot. I can't believe how often I say this, but I can't make this stuff up, folks. I'm not that creative. I can't make this stuff up. It's not within my realm of possibility, really. It isn't within the realm of my creative talent. I'm not that creative to be able to come up with this liberal lunacy that I keep telling you about. I'm not even sure people in Hollywood can make this stuff up. By the way, I just saw something come across the new Steve Jobs movie biopic. I guess it bombed. I don't know how badly it bombed. I haven't followed it, and I don't really care. But anyway, the phrase politically correct is now a microaggression, according to the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee. Now, the university's Just Words campaign is the work of UWM's Inclusive Excellence Center. Inclusive Excellence Center. It aims to raise awareness of microaggressions and their impact. Now, microaggressions like politically correct or PT. Inclusive Excellence Center? They have a real building that this is housed in? This is real? Are you kidding me? Inclusive? What does that include? What does it mean? I mean, it's inclusive. They're being everything but inclusive in this. It would seem to me that if you had an inclusive excellence center, you'd want to include everybody's thought, and you wouldn't say that somebody's being microaggressive. I don't know, Mike, is that just a tiny bit aggressive? So it's not like passive aggressive. Everybody knows what passive aggressive is. Microaggressive. This is new. Now, Merriam-Webster defines politically correct as conforming to a belief that language and practices which could offend political sensibilities should be eliminated, as in matters of sex or race. The university, however, claims that calling something politically correct has become a way to deflect, that people are being too sensitive and police language. Politically correct, moreover, is just one of people are being too sensitive. Now we've gotten to this point where, there's this false notion that you have a right not to be offended. That's an impossibility. Sorry, lefties, but there's no possible Look, you guys offend yourselves, really. How about when you flip-flop? How about when your wonderful leaders flip-flop? You know what Hillary said about the LGBT community? Didn't that offend you? She's your top pick for the presidency. Now, politically correct is just one of a whole host of words and phrases the university has denounced as microaggressions. The university also claims the word lame is a microaggression to somehow both ridicules and ignores the lives of amputees and therefore should. That's lame. I can't make this stuff up, folks. Now, UWM also claims that using the phrase third world to describe third world countries is a microaggression because it reinforces hierarchical attitudes towards nations around the world, establishes westernized or industrialized countries and cultures as the standard upon which... Have you seen Asian countries lately? I'm sorry, Tokyo is not a Western nation, but it's by far probably one of the most advanced cities on the planet. And yet, a third world is supposed to be, we're denigrating everybody else? Well, I guess because Tokyo, Japan has become westernized. Well, how about China? Not third world anymore. They may be third rate, but they're not third world, and that third rate is quickly, changing. We're not going to be allowed to describe in other words, if you try to describe something, what they're saying, especially if it hurts a liberal's feelings or grates their teeth or something, that's a microaggression. So you can't describe anything. No, not at all. Not according to the left, because now that's going to be a microaggression. Hey, they're just words, sticks and stones. I guess sticks and stones do more than break bones, because these words are obviously hurting the left. And this stuff is just, it's absolutely unbelievable. Because the liberals are running the... Well, hey, here's some good news, though. Some good news about liberals. This is from the Daily Caller. Poland's parliament has literally 0 liberals now. Yeah, in a crushing sweep for conservatives in Poland's Sunday election means that the left-wing parties have been entirely eliminated from the country's parliament. The Sejm, S-E-J-M, I do not know how that's properly pronounced, for the first time since the end of World War II. Feat is all the more impressive because Poland uses a proportional representation system where instead of electing individual members, the seats are doled out by how much of the vote each party has received. To qualify, the United Left, a coalition of Poland's Social Democrats, Greens, and other left-wing elements, needed to get just 8% of the vote. Just 8% of the vote. And they couldn't get 8% of the Polish vote. Now, friends, let me tell you, that's exciting news. Because this is how you get rid of the left. You defeat them at the polls. This is what we've been doing since 2010, defeating them at the polls. Now, I know the big prize has eluded us the last 2 elections, the presidency, but we have been taking seats from these lefties, left and right, since 2010. And I do not see, unless people just get tired of the rhinos, I do not see that trend abating anytime soon. Because Americans are tired of of this liberalism. It is now affecting everyone. It used to be, they might say, well, that political correctness, it really doesn't affect me now. But now it affects microaggressions now. You can't even say something's lame without being accused of being a bigoted, homosexual, or homophobic, womanist, and you're just being aggressive, man. You're microaggressive. You're just mean. Just mean. Hey, look, I'm not making this stuff up. The other thing that came across my computerized desk today, is an MSNBC host. What she had to say about a so-called microaggression, if you will. MSNBC, MS Mess host. When Republicans say the phrase hard worker, they're being racist. Folks, I kid you not. Here's a story from thedailycaller.com. While discussing the efficacy of a hypothetical speaker, Paul Ryan, MSNBC host Melissa Harris Perry cautioned guest Alfonso Aguilar against using the phrase hard worker, implying that it is somehow offensive to African Americans. Since when did the term hard worker become offensive to African Americans? I think the term hard worker is offensive to illegal immigrants, because when they get here, all they want to do is get on the public dole. I'm not talking legal immigrants. I'm talking the illegals, because they're the ones that are amassing a massive amount of cash, wealth transfer from those of us citizens who actually work to those who aren't citizens and aren't here legally, who don't work. But she said, I just want to pause on one thing, because I don't disagree with you that I actually think Mr. Ryan is a great choice for this role, but which means, look, if Harry Reid and the rest of the left likes Ryan, that means he's a sucky choice. I hate to say it, but that's the way it usually works. But I want us to be super careful when we use the language hard worker. I actually keep an image of folks working in cotton fields on my office wall because it is a reminder about what hard work looks like. So folks, to the left now, to leftists, hard work is akin to black slaves in the cotton fields picking cotton. She said it. The MS Mess host said it. Melissa Harris Perry. I didn't make this stuff up. So now when you're out there talking about being a hard worker, you are really being a micro racist. Because what you really mean is that you're going back to the days of pre-cotton gin when slaves picked the cotton. Hey ho, pick a bale of cotton. Pick a bale a day. Yeah, that's the only kind of hard work there ever was, I guess, was, slave work in the cotton fields. That was hard. Whatever work you do today, that's not hard. Putting up the Empire State Building was not hard work. Not at all. Building roads across, from coast to coast, all of these years, including today, it's not hard work. Well, I know if you look at, crews out there working on the roads today, many of them are not working at all. They're standing around watching one or two other people work, but that's not hard work. Nobody works hard today. You don't work hard because you're not a slave and you're not picking cotton. Now, the context, she goes on, in the context of relative privilege, I'm not even sure what the hell that means. In the context of relative privilege, when you talk about work-life balance and being a hard worker, the moms who don't have health care We don't call them hard workers. We call them failures. We call them sucking up. What? The moms who don't have health care but they're working? We call them sucking off the system because they're working? Folks, look, I'm telling you, there is something mentally wrong with these people. When you can't even look at what they're saying and listen to what they're saying and comprehend at least two of their words that they've put in succession and try to formulate, a sentence from them, there's a problem. There is a huge, not a micro, a macro mental disconnect between that liberal's brain and their mouth. Because I cannot believe that somebody would actually sit there and equate hard work with slaves picking cotton. And that moms who are working but don't have health care, we say, I guess on the right, that we're saying that they're failures and sucking off the system. Do you get this? I'm trying to fully comprehend it because I have to for you so I can explain it to you. That's my job. And I'm going to have to put it, Tylenol, man. Who's Tylenol? I'm going to have to buy some stock in Tylenol because this kind of stuff is going to start giving people massive headaches on a daily basis. And, analgesics are just going to start going through the roof. And I need to make sure that I got stock in Bayer and Tylenol and all those places. Because you guys are going to, you folks out there who are even slightly on the right, you're going to look at this stuff and you're going to try to figure out, you're going to try to figure it out, try to understand it. It is going to start giving you massive migraines and you're going to run to the store in order to get some relief. So that means you're going to start buying a lot of drugs. Now, look, I'm not making light of this, but maybe that's the reason why we have such a huge drug problem nowadays. Because the left is driving people crazy. I cannot believe this. So you're a working mom, but you don't have health insurance, so you're going to be accused of sucking off the system. And if you mention hard work, I guess you're degrading slaves.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Is still targeting, and this is that Tea Party Act claiming, but that's not the big news with the IRS today. Big news from the IRS today is from Newsmax. Can I say something about Newsmax? I not that I think they're the best out there, but Newsmax, their site is much like Drudge. Drudge is just, bare bones. Drudge Report. Newsmax is just on my computers anyway. Newsmax is one of the sources, one of the pages or sites that for my computer they love. Because it loads on, it's like lickety split, It's like, even Facebook now is so loaded with garbage that it doesn't load nearly as fast as it used to because it's got to, download and upload and do all these cookies to track what you're doing on. Got to load all those stupid ads that nobody's really paying attention to. Then it's got to, load all of your stuff, and if you keep I don't do games but if you get added to a lot of which I've come to not mind getting. Otherwise, a lot of times I do go through my groups every once in a while, and the list. But I do get rid of, stuff that I don't like and stuff that I don't agree with. Nothing to do, I have no interest in stuff that I think maybe you folks should be, because here's a report from Newsmax The IRS obtains Stingray surveillance equipment. The Internal Revenue Service is now among the more than a dozen federal agencies that have sophisticated cell phone dragnet equipment known as Stingray. The evidence of the potentially invasive equipment comes just days after the IRS escaped legal culpability for secretly targeting conservative groups for extra scrutiny. Now, according to The Guardian, the IRS bought the spy-like equipment in 2009 and 2012 from Harris Corporation. The equipment works by pretending to be cell phone towers in order to strip metadata and, in some cases, even content phones which connect to them. Oh, I just have one question. IRS, folks. Why does the IRS need to spy on the American people? Now, the info showing that they are using stingrays is generally consistent with the kinds of investigative tactics that are engaging in, and it shows the wide proliferation of this very invasive surveillance technology. Now, according to The Guardian, one invoice from 2012 shows the IRS spent $65,600 on upgrading a Stingray 2 to a Hailstorm, a more powerful version of the same device, as well as $6,000 on training from Harris. Now, accordingly, the equipment only requires a low-level court order to grant permission for use. Again, why would the IRS need to have such spy equipment? Yeah, I'm going to do the Hillary Clinton thing. I'm going to shrug my shoulders, put up my hand. I don't know. They don't have a need for this. They don't have a true investigatory need for this. Are they going to start listening to all our conversations to see if we're somehow government out of its money? Don't think that is their own. It is. Look, we've got George Orwell's 1984 is alive and well in the 21st century, and it is only going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, look, one of the reasons why there's this whole recommendation thing now that most drones be registered, which means that you're going to have to be licensed. And if you want to fly a drone, you're going to have to get a license, you're going to have to register it, and you're going to have to pay for that. And there will probably be, in most states, they'll probably end up having, drone inspection. Like you have your automobile inspection, annual or biannual inspection. You probably have to have drone inspections, and you'll probably have to take a drone driving or drone flying, test and all that. Look, I understand how dangerous and potentially dangerous they can be when they don't pay attention to the law and they fly these things next to actual aircraft. Don't do that. Do not fly them anywhere within the flight pattern of aircraft. Do not fly them near an airport. Don't do that. And privacy. Look, I'm going to just say this about drones. They are a great tool. And they can be great fun, flying, in certain areas that you can't really get to or take, photographers. I wouldn't mind having a camera drone that could take pictures. The high altitude photographers. Those guys' jobs are now in danger because they charge a lot of money to take aerial photographs. But if you have a drone that can do it, why would you pay that price? for the price of a good drone, which is probably the equivalent of having, it's still less expensive than having those aerial photographers take pictures for you of an event or whatever. Just get a drone, for less than that, for a good one, and send it up there and snap a few pictures, and then you're good to go. And I also understand that they can be good for other uses. Look, we have business looking into drones and being able to, Amazon and now Walmart is looking into the possibility of using drones to deliver product to people. I don't know how that's going to be regulated. I'm going to assume they're going to have to travel streets. They're not going to be able to cross over people's yards, and so I don't know how because what happens if they drop a package on the over a street or on a highway? It could cause an accident. I don't know. But we haven't gotten to that point where we figured this all. Technology is progressing faster than we can figure out how to best use this stuff. But just having government take over it and just start saying that you need to be licensed and registered, and in order to do that, you got to give us money. That's not the. Isn't it wonderful how the government sort of just takes all of this wonderful invention? But granted, the government has given the public some inventions that they've come up with. Like NASA, they've had, Tang and memory foam is a NASA thing. So there are some things that they do give back, but I find the vast majority, 95% of stuff that's invented is invented in the private sector, and much of that is done so without government funding. Yet the government feels that they have, once you invented, they have a right to control. They've been doing that for a century. Think about it. Really, automobile. Oh, hey, this is a great invention, the automobile. Oh, we're going to have to regulate it now. But you didn't invent it. The government didn't pay for this. So what? We're going to take over the road system, and we're going to regulate automobiles. And so much other stuff. Now they're trying to, the government did invent the idea of the internet, but they didn't develop it to this point. But now they want to regulate it. They didn't invent the radio, but they regulate it. They didn't invent television, but they regulate it. They didn't invent the airplane, but they regulate it. They didn't invent drones, but now they want to regulate them. I find it interesting that anything that happens in the private sector, the government at some point decides that, really, we own it, so we're going to regulate it. And I don't know, maybe that's what they're going to be doing with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, with these with this device known as this equipment known as the Stingray. So that look, I always you've heard in the movies, when they were on landline phones. We can't talk in this. We can't talk in this phone because they were afraid that somebody had tapped into the line and that type of thing. Well, now it's the same thing with your cell phone. You can't say anything important or secretive on your cell phone because you never know who's going to be listening in and who's intercepting that communication. And you never know when you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and next thing you know, you got a bunch of people dressed in armored suits or in black suits, knocking your door in, and raiding your home. It's happened a lot, sad to say, in this country. You would think sometimes the way our law enforcement agencies act, you think that we were in a third world. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say third world because that's a micro. In some less developed less westernized nation, I guess is that how we should probably say it. That's probably a microaggression. I don't know how you would describe it then. How would you describe a third world country without being microaggressive? Anything I say, obviously, is going to end up being a microaggressive statement or phrase from the left. This is why I'm not politically correct, because I fail miserably at it. I don't know how to be politically correct. And, whoop, now see, I did it again. That's a microaggression by saying politically correct. So, I can't win. I work really hard at doing, no. That's also construed as being racist and probably a microaggression. So, I guess the whole thing, look, I can't even, what can I use beside the word politically correct? So I'm going to try to be something more visible to a wimpy. Wimpy's probably a microaggression. Some less than standardized, traditional, manly action. Then I guess I can't. Yeah, that's not going to work. The hell with it. So if I'm not politically correct, they're going to try to shut me up. But hell, this is not a third world banana country. And, I work hard for my money because I'm a hard worker. Just like I know a lot of other people out there work very hard and they're hard workers and they're not out there in the fields picking cotton. So, if the IRS wants to try to, or any other agency wants to listen in on my conversations, which I would say is illegal, then go right ahead. Because if anything, I'm the one who is out there trying to save this nation, not destroy it. I don't want us to become a third world nation where nobody has to work hard because the government pays for everything. Because everybody wants to be sucking off the public dole. Really, I don't. I know. Generally speaking, there are people. Well, they just ambition. If somebody's ambitious, if that's a microaggression too. Who are not him. There's a guy online that goes by, and it's kind of funny because I think he makes quite a bit of money because he has a YouTube channel that has thousands of followers. He goes by the moniker of Lazy Ass Stoner. And he's a Brit, by the way. He's a Brit. I don't know, is pot legal in England now? I don't know. But he goes by the... And if you watch... I've watched a few... Because, he's into, social marketing and things like that. And that's kind of the business that I watch some of his videos. And I got at least half of I've probably seen, half a dozen videos. And I would say at least half of those videos, he is definitely stoned. But I guess I'm going to assume that saying somebody's a stoner is probably going to be construed as a microaggression too. As, I don't know. Call somebody a stoner? Who are you offending? Stones? Rocks? I don't... Or maybe the Rolling Stones. I don't know. You're going to have to... how apropos. Hell, we should just all make our own little countries and secede from the nation. Well, how apropos, because I have that in my paper pile as well. CBS Las Vegas is reporting that a man is building his own sovereign nation on a remote piece of land in Utah. A New York man. New York. Hard-working man in New York. A New York man is building his own sovereign nation called Zakistan. Zakistan. Zaqistan, on a remote piece of land in Utah. Now, Zach, Z-A-Q, Landsberg has created a yellow and red flag, official-looking passports, and a border patrol gate guarded by a giant robot security for the realm. The conceptual goal is I want to become a real country, said Landsberg, its president. I mean, the goal is not going to happen. It's impossible, but going through the motions, I'm trying to make that happen. Well, how are you trying to make it happen if you know it can happen? He even created a motto for the land of Zaqistan, something from nothing. Now, Zaqistan works the best, he says, when it's wedged up against the real world and when the passports circulate. When he bought the sagebrush-covered stretch of Utah backcountry a decade ago, the city-dwelling Landsberg was amazed at how removed it was. It's about 60 miles from the nearest town and 15 miles away from the nearest paved road. While he calls the area harsh and desolate, it's also appealing. So, you might want to try to contact Zach Landsberg of Zaqistan out there in Utah and see if you can I don't know. You know, if he's not careful, he might end up going the way of like Ruby Ridge or something. Feds aren't going to be too happy with somebody trying to create their own country within the state of Utah. Hey, you know, Utahans might go for it, but the Fed isn't. Utah could say, "Well, go ahead. You know, we'll let you secede a small sliver for Zaqistan." Fed wouldn't allow it. They'd come in there with tanks and guns ablazing, saying, "No, you're a terrorist," and all that kind of stuff. So, Good for. They don't say how old Zach is. Hey, good for Zach. Landsberg, isn't that kind of also? Zach Landsberg of Zaqistan, president of Zaqistan. Now, I wonder if he's still paying taxes, and if the IRS is going to, send out stuff out there. Spy stuff to spy on. You already heard the story about pork. I'm not even going to read it. But look, personally myself, I don't eat pork. But pork and red meat, according to the World Health Organization, for the first time today, I actually heard a liberal newscaster call it WHO. Yeah, they said the WHO organization is saying that blah, blah, blah. Who? Who exactly is the WHO? They're a United Nations organization, by the way. Department, if you will. But they're out there saying that pork and red meat can cause cancer. It's just as unhealthy and as bad for you as cigarettes. Now, you have to understand, now, who are the people that are going to jump up and down at this news? You got it, the radical vegan vegetarian set. Because after all, eating meat is not only cruel and inhumane, but it's also contributing to global warming. And if we get rid of cows and we get rid of pigs and we get rid of chickens, then they won't be polluting the air and everything and the water and stuff like that. So we'll save the planet if we all just went vegan. So one of the ways to do it is to scare you, because the left, all they have is scare tactics, because they do not have real science behind anything. So what they have is a scare tactic. Hey, here's a scare tactic. If you eat red meat or if you eat pork, you will die. And there are going to be some people out there who actually listen to that drivel, because they're going to be so scared. I don't eat pork anyway. I don't, I eat turkey bacon. I'll eat regular real bacon every once in a while, but that's about it. But I ain't giving up my beef. or my bison. That stuff's too tasty. Member of PETA, people eating tasty animals. Saudi prince. I have enough time to go over this story in depth. No, I don't. But a perverted Saudi prince ordered his entire staff to strip naked at his Beverly Hills mansion pool and said, "I want to see some blank." Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow. Right now, maybe leaving the show like this is also microaggression. I don't know. I'm politically incorrect. Well, there I go again. I'm Rod Eccles. Have a wonderful night. I'm passively aggressive, microaggressive.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.